for months. Different situations, same emotions. Different people, same triggers. Different goals, same hesitations. I couldn't believe it when I read it. So I was going through my journal from last year, September, till up to now. And I realized I was taking parts and pieces of everybody, right? So I was listening to this guru, listening to this specialist, listening to that specialist, listening to these, ways to do things. And each time I was switching, each time I was moving in different directions, each time it was triggering me to say, oh, maybe I don't have it right. So it kept me second guessing myself and kept me not consistent. And here is the trick of listening to too many people, gathering information, trying to solve a problem that you have to fix, you have to direct. However, you think somebody else knows it better than you. But who else knows how to govern you but you? I was reading my journal and I was like, oh my goodness. I started years ago with one affirmation, right? And one affirmation catapulted me to a great life, to believing something different. Now, I must admit, as I was going through this book, this journal, that I was not believing, right? I wasn't believing things. I was writing things. I was reciting things. I was repeating things. But my belief system was out here, wasn't in here. And as I kept going through it, right, because I did get the feeling that, hey, I might not want to keep doing this. So I stopped writing in my journal for a while, and then I had just went back to it the other day just to look over everything for the month. And then I realized, hey, this is not working because I'm trying to find solutions for the same exact thing and it's just not working. So what piece was missing for me? That's what I had to ask myself. What piece was missing for me? I was stuck. And most people think they're stuck. But you're not stuck. You're in a pattern. And this, reading my journal was an awakening to a pattern that I was receiving. I was receiving that everybody knew what was good for me except for me. I was receiving that belief is a system out there instead of a deep-rooted feeling and a consistent belief. Not belief, but a consistent authority. Let's just say that consistent authority in your life. So you will believe, if you have belief, you have to know it's there. It is. That's the word, certainty. That's it. Consistent certainty. So I had to move from belief to certainty. See, belief is out here that if I do something or I create a pattern or I, develop something, this will happen. So thoughts, belief, actions, results, repeat, right? However, if you belief only can take you so far because as I read in my journal, I kept repeating the same things and looking for the same solutions. I've changed numbers, I've changed dates, but I still was looking for the same thing each time. I was looking for the solution, but guess what? I wasn't consistent and I did not have that certainty. That's what you need. More than belief, you need certainty. Because belief is the starting stage of it, that you can get it, you can, but certainties I have. Certainties I have. I will, I am. That is what certainty is. I will, I am, but belief is I can. And then it only takes you to a certain step. So when you're believing, You really got to break it down into that thing. You're not stuck, you're in a pattern. So if you're in a pattern of listening to other people, scrolling through, getting advice, tabbing it, saving it, maybe for later you're going to use it and you don't use it, right? You're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be stuck. You're just going to be stuck with more stuff to uncover yourself. So let's think about this. It's like I'm cold, right? And I put on a blanket, but I'm still cold. I put on another blanket. I'm still cold. I put on another blanket. That's what it's like when you are scrolling, trying to find a solution for yourself. The idea is to have trial and error. Trial and error. So when I first started this journey of manifestation, it was way back. It was 2010 or 2010, I think it was, or maybe even before then, maybe 2009. But I started to develop, my idea around it. So 2009, 2010, I used affirmations. I met Wayne Dwyer, right? I met him. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. Affirmations everywhere, right? So I started developing using affirmations. Thank you, whoever sent me a lucky clover. Thank you very much. And I kept doing that, right? And it got me to a level. And then after a while, my affirmations had to develop. So they had to develop with more specificity, right? They had to be more specific, not just I am abundant, but what am I abundant about? What is it that abundance looks like for me? So I had to develop it. So that was the next step, right? The next step after that was now that I have these affirmations, I have to put them into a belief system. So now I had to believe. I had to start to believe, but that was one step. Then I had to be consistent with all of that. All of that had to be consistent, but it was outside of me. But until I had the certainty, everything became inside of me. So everything was inner work. Everything was part of me. Everything was my nervous system, my mind, my body, and my soul. So everything came into alignment when I was not believing, but I was certain. I was certain that these I have, I will, I am. I was certain instead of using things or tools to bring that about. Instead of using people to bring that about. Instead of, yes, you may need people to spark you to do those things, right? That's what we are. That's what coaches like us and counselors and Tony Robbins and Lisa Nichols and the Oprahs in the world and all of us. That's what we're all here for, is to light and spark the initiative in you, the certainty in you. That's what we're here for. So when we are stuck, we are in a pattern. So that's what my journal was showing me, is that I was in a pattern of going to that journal, and if I wrote it out, that would be the miracle that I was looking for. If I listened to, like, I don't know, Reverend Ike, or listened to Tony Robbins, or I heard a message or a idea of a tool from either one of those people, I would administer it into my practice, and it would make it better. But I wasn't certain in myself. If the belief does not change, the result won't either. So you have to go further than belief. You have to be certain. You have to do these 4 things. And I'm going to teach the method that I think helped me as I'm reading my journal, okay? The 4 R's, right? And you name it and it's yours. The one was revealed for me when I read this journal and I saw my fallacies, and what I was writing. I revealed. Look back. Go take your journal and look back into 5 to 7 journal entries, right? Look through it. See where you repeat the words. See where you repeat emotions. See where you repeat complaints. See how you add things in with what you're doing, or you hear somebody say something and oh, this triggered maybe a thought. If you've added things in, now all of this is your subconscious speaking. Your subconscious, not your unconscious, but your subconscious. It's speaking. All right. So remember that. That's your subconscious doing all of this, right? And then the second R is recognize. Ask yourself, what do I actually believe here, right? What do I actually, and I'm going to take it a step further because belief was in my journal. What do I actually, what am I certain about? What am I certain about here? What am I certain about? And if you ask yourself what you're certain about, you'll start erasing and crossing out. If it's not, if you go into the next month and you're still writing the same thing, maybe you're thinking nothing's working because you're adding things. That's what I was doing. I was adding things, so I'm thinking nothing is working. So I'm saying that to myself, but I'm still writing this. That's my subconscious speaking, but I am thinking, whoa, I am not believing this. This is not working for me. Then as I read through it, I'm always struggling. So if I'm writing the same exact thing and concerned about the same exact thing, I'm still struggling with that. The next thing I found in my writings was that I saw that people were not showing up for me. But I still was writing the same affirmations. I would write and then write the affirmations and then write something that was happening, and it showed me that people were not showing up for me. So recognize what you actually are certain about, okay? What you actually are certain about. That's R number 2. R number 3 is rewrite. Now it gets serious. This is how you correct the fluff, right? And make it truth-based. Make it truth-based for you, not for anybody else, but make it truthful for you. You make that correction. You look at it, and this is what I did. Now, I'm talking about from September. That's a lot of writing to go over and make corrections, right? You're not going to do it right all at one time. You take about 5, of them that you've repeated, and then you go over them and change the narrative around it. Now you correct it. I've been choosing what's familiar, not what's better. So a lot of times when we have goals, we choose what's familiar, what people have said to us, what was told to us, what we people expected of us, instead of what's better for you. Not for me, not for Tony Robbins, not for Lisa Nichols, not for anybody else, not even for Oprah, but for you. We forget that. And I am learning a new way to respond. You're learning a new way to respond. When I wrote in this journal, I was reacting because this is my private thoughts. But your private thoughts become things, right? So stop reacting, learn how to respond differently. And the last one is I can choose differently today, right? So rewrite what you've written, rewrite it. How do you rewrite it? Is you give yourself those prompts, okay? And the last one is 4, is reinforce. That's where most people fail, right? You don't write it once. You speak it, you write it daily, and you act on it. See, what I've done in this book is I literally wrote things down and never acted on them. Yeah, I can admit that for myself. I didn't act on them. I wrote them, didn't act on them, and I didn't act immediately. That creates certainty. That tells the universe that you're certain that these things are going to happen. So we have to get into the mode that the 4 R's are reveal, recognize, reinforce. Recognize, rewrite, and reinforce. So make sure that you're doing that for yourself, okay? So I want to tell you this, that you're not your trauma, even though you may be struggling with something and you're writing in your journal that you're struggling with something. This is not your end. This is not the end of what you're going through. You're not your trauma, but you're responsible for what you're repeating. So if you're repeating something, you're responsible, not an entity outside of you, not a Bible, not a force, but you. That force, whether it be God, whether it be, any other, Messiah or entity or even another God, it's waiting for you to take action, not for them to take action for you. We leave things for others to do instead of doing it for ourselves because we have the ability to do it. So at this point, you are responsible for what you keep repeating. So when I read my journal, I'm responsible for what I'm repeating. So now I have to take responsibility to change the narrative, apply those 4 R's, which I think I'm at not at rewriting, and then reinforce. Reinforce is the action. So rewrite and reinforce, which is the action. At what point, and I need to ask you this, at what point do you stop blaming and start interrupting? At what point? You need to ask yourself that. At what point do I stop blaming something or giving the responsibility to someone else or asking or whatever and start interrupting that pattern? And the last question to you is, how long are you going to keep writing the same story? When I was writing in my journal, I was like, I'm writing the same story. Wow, it's pretty crazy. I'm writing the same story of the same problem. And I didn't take action on it. So now I have to rewrite, and now I have to set those things into action. So if you're still on, I want you to drop one word in this chat that keeps showing up in your life. Just write one word in the chat that keeps showing up in your life. One word. And I know mine is probably money. Mine is probably money. So I'm telling you now what my one word is, okay? It's money. And you drop your one word. And I'll give you a couple seconds. And what is your belief around that one word? What is it? What do you believe around that one word? Well, I believed, here we go, see, living in the now. I believed that it was unattainable. I believed a lot of confusion around it. I believed that there wasn't enough. I believed that if I got it, that it would be dirty, that it wouldn't be worth what what I am. I believed fake things, untrue things about it. I believed that it wasn't energy, but it is energy. I believed that I could not attain it. I believed. So become aware of your one word, and then what belief is behind that? What is your belief? Now, my certainty is that I am worth every nickel of it. I am money. I have money. And I will obtain a system that creates the money for me. That I have the freedom. So I am in the present. You see how I'm changing the narrative around that? Now, I said a lot today. You got your awareness, but awareness is not enough. Without the structure, that leads you right back to the same cycle. So what you need to do is not be aware only, but you need to be doing something actively about it immediately. Okay? So don't just be aware of it. because being aware of it is like having all those covers on you, when you're sleeping and you're aware that you're warm. But now, how do you stay warm? What's the solution? This is exactly what I create for you in my clarity sessions, in my workshops. And if you're interested in having a clarity session with me, all you have to do is leave a message for me below this video, or you can go on my website, which is www.ednawhite.com, or you can go up above this video in my channel information and send me a direct email. Either three you could do. You know how to reach me. And then also we have coming up April 15th, we have Detox and Reset Masterclass. And we're not just talking about change, but we actually rewiring what you think and about yourself. So I want to make sure that you get that information and you literally be there. So if you want that information, I will put that in the link below so that you can attend that. Listen, if this hits you, don't just sit on it, do something about it. Join me as we actually do the work, and share this video with somebody you believe needs to hear what I said today. All right? So make sure that you are applying those 4 R's, all right, to your life. So you're not repeating, but you are actually doing something about it, right? You're not just believing, you are certain. Bye for now.